and I'm doing a quick live early in the morning, just to let you see how Dr. Woodard and I travel during these COVID-19 times, staying well. We don't get sick or allow disease to take over our bodies. So we have some routines that we do. And I always travel with some staples for disease and eliminating any mucus that may be hiding in our noses or in our throats, which disease latches itself onto. And sometimes, we get a little bit off of our diet because it's just hard to find the food that we're accustomed to. So we eat some tasty food. It's not all vegan, but we make sure that on the post eating outside of our diet that we do some things that keep us well and eliminate added mucus in our bodies when we eat meat or when we eat a little bit of dairy, like some cheese on a salad or something like that, or in a salad. So, I'm in the bathroom right now. This is a very nice bathroom. Like I said, we're coming to a wedding. This is this is my dress. It's something that's got spilled on the dress suitcase, and so I did a hand wash just in that area, and it got it right out. But that's the dress that I'm going to be wearing tonight to the wedding. Silver, kind of gray dress. I think the last time I wore this dress was at my brother and sister-in-law's wedding, Marty and Sherry. Of course, this dress fits me totally different now. I look real good in it. But okay, so here you see we kind of have our toiletries that we bring with us. That's his little box, his little case. And we both got our little glasses here. But what I want you to see is I have here, this is coconut oil, which I do my coconut pull each morning. I also do each morning and evening my saline solution with my pink Himalayan salt right here. So I have my pink salt, and I have my coconut, organic coconut oil, unprocessed coconut oil. Over here, this is what I use, Crest White. It has charcoal in it. It's the kind I use. And I have my natural bristle charcoal toothbrush, and then I have my tongue scraper. So the regimen in the morning for me is I spray my mouth. This is hydrogen peroxide. So I spray my mouth, my teeth, and my gums. Good morning, Marianne. With the hydrogen peroxide. I do that first. Let it sit for about 5 minutes. Then I go ahead and get the toothpaste and I brush, rinse, and then I scrape my tongue. After I scrape my tongue, I do a coconut pull. So I put about 2 teaspoons of coconut in my mouth, swish it around, swish it around, swish it around. I've kind of gotten away and just from this, just regular mouthwash, because regular mouthwash, it gives you that minty flavor, but here's the downside of mouthwash. It kills the good bacteria in your mouth as well as the bad bacteria. It's almost like chemotherapy in the body. It's killing good cells while trying to get rid of the bad cells. So that's what mouthwash does. So, unless I want a fresh minty taste in my mouth or something like that, I really don't use this. I brush my teeth, I scrape my tongue, I spray with the hydrogen peroxide, and I brush my teeth, scrape my tongue, rinse my mouth out, add this in, do a pull for about 10-15 minutes in my mouth, swishing around and of course this is coconut oil in its solid form, but as soon as you apply any heat to it, it begins to melt. So Makes it easier to scoop out and put into your mouth. And then after that, this is either in the morning or the evening, I do what is called a saline rinse. So I take about a teaspoon of Himalayan salt here, dissolve it in a glass of medium to hot water, and I sniff it in my nose. Pour some in my hand, sniff it in my nose, and once I sniff it in my nose, I throw my head back, swallow some. Don't swallow in the water, but I put some of the water in my mouth, and then I gargle while the salt runs down the back of my nose. And you would be amazed at the amount of mucus that's in your nose and in your throat, unless you go after it. And I'm going to turn the camera back around here. So, one thing about COVID and airborne diseases is that they enter through your nose, and they love cool places. So that's where they set up. They set up in these cool places, they grow and develop, and then they move down your nasal passages, your esophagus, into your throat. You get the cough, and then they're down in your chest, and you get pneumonia, and it just attaches itself to those mucus um, cells in your nose and in your throat. And so the saline solution, uh, the warm saline solution, goes in there, kills that stuff, and brings it out. So, after a night out on the river walk and just being around people, even though we're masked and we're outside for the most part, being around people, we're here with a wedding. We were just at the wedding rehearsal. So you come home and you don't lay on the fact that you've been in the midst of other people. So we do this regimen, and it works for us. And hopefully, if you try it, it'll work for you. So that's that. Um, the other thing we did, or we do, and I'm taking you. The room is beautiful. It's beautiful. There's Dr. Woodard at his desk on his laptop like he always is. He don't go nowhere without it. His laptop is like American Express. But it's a nice, um, if you will, what do they call it? Not traditional. If it's not traditional, I forget what you call it, but it's a nice room. The ceilings are high, which makes it look so much more spacious. But this is our room. And you saw a little bit of the bathroom here with the beautiful glass shower there, in the sink, and my dress. Okay, so in here is the little kitchenette. All right, so what I brought with us, these are almost gone, but I always carry these mango slices. So when I get hungry, I pop a mango slice in my mouth. These are my D3s pills and my levothyroxine, which I take. But right here, what I really brought you in here to see is I always travel with baking soda. So baking soda alkalinizes the body. They've got all their sugars and creams here that we really don't use. But I brought my own tea. I got my soursop tea, my green tea, and this delicious yogi tea called Tangerine Energy, Positive Energy, Sweet Tangerine. So what I did is I steeped some of this, and then I put a couple of pinches of baking soda in it, and then we drank that. We did that this morning. We could have done it last night, but we were exhausted. So when we got home from the Riverwalk, we went to bed. But so a few pinches of baking soda in this warm tea this morning, which is going to continue to alkalinize our bodies from yesterday evening. When we got off of our vegan diet, just because we had to eat. There weren't many options for us. But it was delicious. We didn't eat meat. And fish is meat, but that's what we had. We had fish and some fries and a little house salad with a few sprinkles of cheese on there. So when I say we got off, we didn't get way off, but we were definitely not vegan. But we feel good. I mean, and but like I said, mucus, um, things like meat and dairy produce mucus in the body. And mucus is like a thriving bed for disease. So the more you can get mucus out of your nose and out of your throat with saline solutions, with pulls, and drinking a little bit of baking soda in your coffee. You can put a pinch of baking soda in any hot beverage you drink, which alkalinizes um, whatever you're drinking, because a lot of drinks are acidic. Coffee, particularly, is very acidic. So, in order to alkalinize the coffee, you put a pinch of that in there. Good morning, Vernell. How are you, darling? And Mary Ann, too. So, I asked Dr. Wood if he would talk more about that mucus, because he was explaining to me scientifically about the mucosal membrane in your nose. And he's very technical, so if he give you some big words, don't worry about it. They just, I'm gonna see if I can set this right here, Daddy, and you can talk to him. What is that?
What was that?
We in Texas. I believe that was a roach.
Oh, wait a minute.
It was. He went down in there. Okay, we going over here.
I don't care. Set it right here. I want to watch this.
So there's my love right there.
Um,
Been hanging out with this guy for about, what, 48 hours now.
yeah, here. Good morning, y'all. You know what?
Here, we can back it up.
Yeah, Mrs. Woodard now got me really concerned about.
I'm
some
concerned
stuff.
too. He went right there.
Okay. All right. Anyways, good morning. Real quick, y'all. There's when we talk about epithelial tissue is the tissue. Yeah. Okay. Epithelial tissue is the stuff that lines any place where the external world can enter your internal world. So all the linings of your nose, your mouth, your gut, intestinal pieces, epithelial tissues on your skin. And so there's two different kinds. I teach it in anatomy and physiology. We talk about the when it's a single layer, it's called squamous. They're thin, single layer of tissue. So it's squamous epithelial tissue. But you also have squamous cuboidal tissue, one layer, squamous columnar tissue, which larger cells, but it's also one layer. In point of fact, in your nose, you have what are squamous epithelial tissue. So the lining of your nose is one layer thick, and literally, when in those tissues, you get a lot of mucus building, because that's why they're there. Single layer of mucus, squamous cuboidal tissue, mucus producing cells, one layer in your nose. So it's good to cleanse your nose because of that single layer. It can get congested. I want you guys to know, and I'm a little paranoid right now, and figure out where this little bug went. I have a little precancerous lesion on my nose. I've known for a long period of time. It's been there for quite a while. If you use saline, it erupts because it's so near it's near the surface. Okay, superficial is the term that we use, so it's very superficial. When you get cancerous, precancerous lesions, part of cancer, what makes it thrive is it builds other blood vessels. Okay, this aneurysm that occurs, and so you get these other blood vessels. So I've got this hyper erythemia region in this nose. So if I use saline rinses, I get a nosebleed. Well, that's been triggered for a couple years now, and certainly know that it's there. It's important for me to keep doing it though, because although those vessels bleed, there's a cleansing to it, and all the macrophages and stuff that come to the surface. Okay, and that's all immunology. That they're there, and even though it gets congested, it's really important for me to make sure that I keep doing it. So it's important that you do it as well, because that single layer, it's a single layer of cells, we call it squamous. They're cuboidal cells, so they look like cubes. They're mucus secreting stuff, okay, that provide mucus. Well, and the mucus is there so that it can flush particles of dirt and whatnot out your nose. So all that's important to say. Hey, saline rinse is really, really good for your nose, cleans that mucus off that single layer so that those mucus producing cells, cuboidal cells, can do what they need to do.
Okay, so there's two different types of cells. The ones that are on top, the cuboidal ones, are the ones that that disease or COVID will latch onto and thrive, right?
Well, yeah, considering the fact that you've got cuboidal cells that line that epithelial layers of your nose, you've got to make sure that those are clean, because that
those
anything
are clean, because those are the ones that are protecting you.
Well, yes, the mucus producing, and if they can't produce the mucus, then you can't get rid of whatever discharge that you need to get rid of, and something gets a housing unit for free,
right,
and stays there. So it's kind of they're
COVID gets
terms.
a housing unit.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'd have to take you through anatomy and physiology for a while to really understand and appreciate all the various kinds of cell layers. There's actually 8 different kinds. I was taking the class through it the other day, and if you're in class and you get it for 2 hours and maybe another 2 hours and you still scratch your head, that's why 5 minutes doesn't make a lot of sense. But squamous cuboidal cells line the nose, need to be cleaned. Saline rinses do extremely well, and everybody needs to take care of themselves.
Yes. Thank you, Daddy. Okay, so there you have it. Bottom line, do that saline rinse. Especially, when you go out, even if you're outside, when you've been around family for different occasions during COVID-19, there needs to be just a regiment of making sure that nothing's setting up in your nasal passages, which prevent your body's way of keeping itself, the natural ways the body keeps itself well. We have to help our body keep itself well. It's just not going to do it. So we got to do things that help the body to perform at its optimal best, especially when we're off of the normal beaten path. Speaking for me and Dr. Woodard ourselves, we're off of our normal beaten path, out of town, traveling on planes, not totally eating vegan because we're just needing to eat. So we have a regimen that we do that's heightened when we travel and whatnot, but it's a regular regimen even when we're at home in our regular routines. And when I say regular routine, he goes and he teaches on the collegiate level and the secondary level, and I go, pretty much to the store, but taking care of my grandchildren. So that's pretty much, and we're at church once a week. So those types of gatherings and stuff, we have to be very, if you will, aggressive, consistent with taking care of ourselves. He is vaccinated, but we're finding that, people are still getting sick, even being vaccinated. So we still have to be careful. He's vaccinated. My daughter's vaccinated. I am not. And I'll just leave it right there. So Um, um, I just wanted to share that with you. I believe this is the first Saturday. This would be our typical Saturday of having breakfast with Mel and Bev. But this morning, it's not breakfast with Mel and Bev. It is alkalinized tangerine tea with Mel and Bev. I have my cup. He has his cup in there. And in a few minutes here, we're going to put on some real clothes. We're going to do some more walking around. I saw this street called Bowie Street, and we're in Texas, and that's where I was born, and that's where my name comes from. My maiden name is Bowie, Bowie. My father's father was my great grandfather was the son of a sharecropper on the Bowie plantation here in Texas. So that's where I get my maiden name and my dad's name, A. Charles Bowie. My middle name comes from my daddy, too. Beverly Charles Bowie Woodard is my full name. And so we saw Bowie Street, and I told my husband, I said, well, that's the first street our family was named after. But my dad has a street there in Cleveland, Ohio, going down in front of the church where he pastored for 42 years. And it's called A. Charles Bowie Boulevard, and it runs straight down Euclid in front of the church where he pastored for 42 years. And it's also a building with his name on it that was named after him. So we're going to do some walking. We're going to go over to the Alamo. I may bring you guys back on when we go over to the Alamo. The wedding is not until 6:30 evening, although we have to be there about an hour before because he is doing the ceremony. But it's not till the evening, so we got some time in the day to spend with each other. We're going to go back over to where we were. Got these wonderful vegetarian salads and sandwiches and a black bean soup that he had that was just, but they have avocado toast that I want to try. And of course, he saw some pastries that he was looking at. So when he may get a pastry, I'm gonna get me some avocado toast, and I maybe might take some pictures of that. But let's see who's on here this morning. Oh, okay, Albert Michael. Good morning, Albert Michael and Vernell and Mary Ann. Good morning. I know there's some others of you who have come on or that will come on later, and that's wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and share this to, I'm going to tweet it. Okay, we're back. So I want to share this is to, um, okay. So going to get off of here. Maybe see you later today. But we're going to get ready to get dressed and do some sightseeing and grab a late breakfast brunch. Um, but for joining me for this live, if you've enjoyed it, do a thumbs up, like and share. Facebook people, and God bless. Bye bye.